Hello everyone, today I'm excited to introduce you to the Godot engine plugin I'll be working on, a tool that I personal use for my own projects. It will also be available to the public, allowing anyone interested to give it a try, as I believe it can be incredibly useful for many of you. Without further ado, let's dive in. I'm Green Crow and welcome to the first episode of Godot plugin development.
As I already said in the introduction, this plugin will be about asset making. Have you ever wondered if there was a more advanced technique to speed up asset production and maybe modify your assets directly in the engine according to your needs? Okay, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, let's make an example. Let's say you want to develop a racing game. What are the main elements of a racing game, apart from the vehicles and the driving mechanic itself? It's the racing tracks. But how do you create one of them? The first approach will just be to model it in a 3D modeling software, and that will be absolutely okay. You can, for example, use Blender, where you can start by simply extruding a curve along a path. Once you manage to complete the 3D model of a racing track that satisfies you, you can then proceed to import it in your engine of choice, place a vehicle on it, and now you're ready to test. But wait, you just found out that sharp tool was a little bit too sharp maybe, so now you need to go back to the 3D modeling software and change it. Now that you're satisfied again, let's re-import it in the engine. Test again to see if everything's alright, but now you found out that straight road was too long and boring, so let's go back to change it again. Okay, this workflow just doesn't seem funny at all. Wouldn't you prefer to directly model the racing track in your engine? In that way, you can rapidly make your changes and iterate over them more easily. Also, you speed up your workflow by avoiding going back and forth through all of your softwares. Okay, the plugin I'm trying to develop wants to tackle exactly this issue. So please give a warm welcome to Hoodie, the next procedural geometry plugin for Godot 4. The only issue is that it doesn't exist yet. Yeah, that's right, what I really accomplished until now was just a little prototype. It's also not completely original, since there are a lot of other software that does this, but as far as I know, not for Godot 4. For Godot 3, there is, for example, Proton Graph and GD Probe Mesh by Bastien Ole. And actually, I heavily looked into that to build my own version for Godot 4. So I really want to thank Bastien because he made his source code available and made me learn a lot about how to build a Godot extension. But now let's give a look to the prototype I built in the last few weeks. First thing first, to generate a new Hoodie mesh, you need to start from a mesh instance node. Then in the inspector you proceed to create a new Hoodie mesh, and as you can see that will show up a visual programming interface at the bottom of the Godot window. When you start from zero you will only have a plane node and an output node. And that will just generate a simple plane in the viewport, as you can see. So far so good. But now let's try to make something that resembles to the resin tracks we were talking earlier. Let's open the demo scene I already prepared that contains a Path3D node. We also already have the Mesh Instance 3D node, so we now just need to set everything up and connect the Path3D to our graph. What you want to do now is go inside the Hoodie window and create a Curve 3D node through the Add Node button. Once we've done that, we can see that in the inspector a new input appears. We need to fill that input field with the Curve 3D that was already created in the demo scene. Once we've done that, we just need to add other two nodes, the Line node and the Extrude Shape node. Now let's just connect everything. And let's connect the extrude shape node to the output node. Here we go, a white ribbon appears. That's exactly the line that has been extruded along the curve 3D. Now I just want to show you how it's possible to modify the curve 3D properties through the inspector, and everything updates in real time. You can move the handles, the control points, rotating the tilt, everything just works. Very nice. Eventually, you will also be able to change these values at game runtime, making your model dynamic. The possibilities at this point are pretty much endless. In the next episode, we will dive into creating the project repository on GitHub and maybe write some lines of code. But now let me thank you for watching. I hope you appreciate it, and please subscribe if you want to see this project coming along in the next episodes. This project is gonna be open source, so I will make the repository public as soon as possible so that everyone can maybe eventually contribute to that or just take a look at it and learn how to do a Godot plugin. I'll also leave a link in the description to the Godot documentation about how to start a GD extension C++ plugin. If you have any ideas, suggestions, maybe even recommendations about how to manage an open source repository, please comment down below. It will make me really happy to see what all of you guys think. If you want to get in contact with me, I'll also leave a link to my X account. See you in the next episode.